Politics is everywhere. You'd be surprised how many people aren't aware of what it really means. To find out what actual people think politics is about, we set out on the streets of Langley Park, streets filled with oftentimes poor and sometimes uneducated and underprivileged Latinos. Our mission? To discover what politics is all about and to find out how to get people involved.
Gubernamentales.
Gobierno.
Government.
President.
Trump.
Donald Trump.
What is that? I don't know what is that.
Yo no soy político. No puedo votar, no puedo hacer nada.
Buena.
They're confused.
Falso.
We need to vote more.
Electores.
Voto.
Election. ¿Para qué se vota?
I vote for Hillary Clinton.
No puedo.
Siempre.
I think everybody has the right and should exercise that right.
Muchísimos.
Hispanos.
Myself and others.
My mom is one Latino, my family. My families are Latinos.
Hasta aquí estamos luchando, estamos pensando muchas cosas. El motivo de nuevo presidente, todo eso, ¿no? Estamos algo espantados ya. Sí. Que si nos mandan a la casa, ni modo, no podemos hacer nada.
Todos.
Strong.
Strong.
Food.
People.
En todos los países latinos.
A lot of people from Mexico.
Personas que necesitan ayuda.
Maybe not enough food.
No food.
Trash.
There were many difficulties in getting people to partake in our word association experiment. I personally had trouble communicating because most people in the area only spoke Spanish. Most of the participants in the video had no understanding of politics or voting. In some cases, simply mentioning the word politics scared off Latinos from participating. We figured they behaved this way because a large population of the Latinos living in Langley may be undocumented. However, we discovered this was only part of the reason why they were so scared. Just walking in Langley Park, you can clearly see an isolated and tight-knit community. It's filled with Latinos who came to this country unable to speak the language, so they group together and are hesitant to step out of their communities, thus continuing the cycle of uneducated voters. Today, there are many barriers that prevent Latinos from voting or getting exposure to politics.
The number one thing I'd like to see is I'd like to see our community leaders reach out to Latinos as voters and as members of the community. Let me start with schools. We need to see more Latino educators, teachers. We need to see more Latino principals because that is where our children will see people like them achieving a career so that when they finish school, they can think about going on to college and also getting a career themselves. It is through that kind of advocacy and education that they can get their positions in front of leaders like our elected officials here in the state of Maryland.
No, I was not. I came to this country when I was 8 with my mother and my sister. And my mom didn't even study till the 3rd grade. But she worked really hard. She got training and she learned how to sew. She was on welfare for a while. My mom did not vote because she was a green card holder for a very long time. But then in 1983, she became a citizen and she got involved and she voted, and I learned that it was important. And what I was exposed to was I learned to be the voice for my community. So my mom would often volunteer me at the social services office for me to translate for everyone in the neighborhood because I knew English and my mom did not know English. So as you know, I knew everyone's business in the neighborhood, and I had no business knowing people's business at 8 years old, but I learned to be a strong voice and to fight for people's rights.
All money being equal, some people have more access to money, right? So one of the big issues that we have is that people of color tend to have less access to money. Some years ago, I remember I was reading a study and they were talking about how an African American, if he goes 2 or 3 levels outside of so like him, immediate family, cousins and friends, probably only has access to about $500, right? But then you get people, Caucasian people, and you find that they have access to about $15,000 in that same sort of range. So not everyone has money, right? And so one of the big problems that we run into in campaigns is that corporate money has the exact same ability as your money. So you give me $5, that's the same as if I go down the street and McDonald's gives me $5. So there are a lot of movements to do public financing now. Montgomery County has it, and I want to say Howard County recently voted on it, and they have it now. So that's a way where if I go and I say I'm not going to accept corporate money, I can raise small amounts, $50, $100 from individuals, and then the money that they give me gets matched by whatever money they have in the public financing account. So that's a good way to keep corporate money out and make a small donation actually matter, because all of a sudden it becomes so much more important to me to take your money because I know that your money's going to double because I'm going to get extra, right? Based on the fact that I'm doing public financing, I've actually knocked on your door and talked to you, and you've given me $20. And most studies will find in campaigning that if someone gives you a donation, even if it's $5, the likelihood of them coming out and voting for you skyrockets. So that gives someone an advantage. So I think we want to get rid of corporate money in campaigns, and we also want to look at public financing options where people take small donations from a lot of individuals, and that might help Latinos have a stronger voice. I think for Latinos especially, because we still have a generation of people that are fleeing their countries where governments are corrupt, they don't believe that government is actually a system that works, so they don't invest in it with a vote.
Poverty is a vicious cycle, starting from when Latinos come to the U.S. to escape their corrupt governments. They simply do not confide in the government system, as mistrust is instilled within them from their past experiences. This leads to low voter turnout, causing them to get little representation. Politicians are not enticed to invest in Latino voters, so in turn, they do not get programs they desperately need, leading to the cycle of poverty. However, if the immigration process was simplified and these people were shown the importance and power of their voices, then this daunting cycle may be broken.
Porque debe de haber más hispanos. O sea, lo que te estoy diciendo, lo que están estudiando, esos muchachos son estudiosos, porque uno viene aquí, tiene los hijos, los trae pequeños y no se han hecho ciudadanos, y entonces ellos siguen estudiando, porque nosotros ya cuando venimos mayores no hacemos eso, de hacer lo que hace la juventud, estudiar y decir yo un logro, de decir yo quiero ser esto, yo quiero ser otro, y lo logran. Los padres trabajan para ayudarlo. Y ellos, entonces, ¿cómo le tronchan eso? No se lo tronche, déjalo que ellos aspiren y dale cargo, dale puesto, el que se merece. Podría decir combatir el miedo, enfrentar la verdad, no importa lo que sea. Yo encuentro que es mejor enfrentarlo, sea lo que sea, pero enfrentarlo. Y sus padres no son americanos, pero se están sacrificando para que su hijo pueda ser alguien en el futuro. Entonces, ¿por qué tronchar esa carrera a ellos? ¿Y por qué tratar de quitarle a los padres? Yo no encuentro eso nada bien.
So I grew up in the Clinton years, and for the most part, the country was doing well. But after 9/11, my dad had a small computer repair shop, and a bunch of those businesses, like just that whole corridor, people were not, purchasing or anything. So we actually had to file for bankruptcy. And at least in my life, we had to start from zero twice. And so and I was already old enough to appreciate that. So we actually ended up moving to Peru and had to start all over again over there. So my dad was able to, restart his life with his brothers and siblings in Peru. But I think, and my mother was a housekeeper my whole life, still is to this day. Like right now, she is a housekeeper. And so her work, her experience as just, having to put her, because she has a lot of talents, so she had to leave behind her previous life in Peru. First, not having documentation, and then, to be able to work in this country, and then trying to just figure out ways to just make ends meet. And then finally, during the amnesty in 1986, my parents were able to get papers, but up until then, it's like any immigrant. They come here, you're going to try to get any job that you can. And so she was never able to pursue her dreams and her talents. And so every day that I'm here, I think about that, and it's my motivation to make sure that she's going to be okay, because she doesn't have like a retirement or anything like that. So.
So you think that that's those immigrant stories, that's what's important and unique for Latinos to bring to the table in politics?
Exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, because their children are going to be U.S. citizens, and their experience, isn't reflected by the white male, in that the elected body. And so, a lot of times what I've noticed is families, they don't really tell their story to their children, because there's a little bit of shame attached. But that is, for me, it's actually a success story, that they made it, they're healthy, they're well, and now the first generation American, how do they know where to go when they don't know where they come from? So we need to really celebrate and be just proud of sacrifices that our parents or our grandparents, depending on what generation you are, made for us to be able to be in this country.